Last year, I made a video talking about how I would buff the elite archetype in Legends of Runeterra. Since then, the deck has received a few buffs which has helped skyrocket both the play and the win rate. In this video, I will very quickly go over how elites went from meme tier to tier 1, as well as what I think you should be running in the deck to help you climb in the ranked ladder. I will then wrap the video up with a few games from stream which should help you understand how best to play the deck and why certain cards are included. Starting with buffs, I can count 5 buffs this deck has received in the last 12 months which has caused the deck to increase in playability. Starting with the first buffs, we actually received 2 buffs on the same patch. Both Garen and the Vanguard Squire received a buff in patch 3.6, with Garen gaining his summoning effect, as well as the Vanguard Squire becoming cheaper from moving from 4 mana to 3 mana. The next buff we would see to this archetype would be 15 patches later, with the introduction of the trusty Ramhound, which would give this deck a strong 1 mana card if it managed to stay alive to see another elite unit be summoned. During the Darken expansion, we got our 4th buff to this deck, with the introduction of Champion Strength, which gave the deck an incredible way to end games and help counter other go-wide strategies. Finally, we come to the most recent buff in patch 4.2, with the introduction of the Blocking Badgerbear, a 3 mana 4/4 which held the elite tag, as well as having the ability to block elusive units. This overstatted unit pushed the elite deck from good to great, as not only did it help the deck with playing on curve, but also counter other decks such as Nora and Ezreal, due to the ability to shut down their attacks. At the time of this recording, there are 29 cards which hold the elite tag, so it's important to know what the deck is aiming to do and only include cards that help you towards that game plan. Elites are a deck that want to play out the units on curve and buff them up as much as possible, so that your opponent is unable to trade the units during combat, leaving you with a unit advantage. With cards such as the Battlesmith, Bannerman and Garen, it's easy to achieve this goal. However, choosing the cards to buff can be tricky. I'll hand off to Unscripted Marshall to go through the deck which I would recommend for climbing and explain why I chose certain cards. Hi guys, welcome to the unscripted part of this video. We're going to be going through all of the cards that you can put into this deck, and I'll kind of explain why I am adding them, explain why I'm not running others, maybe tell you some of the tech choices that you can run, and then we'll go from there. You can decide whether you want to run exactly my deck if you want to play this deck, or include some of the other cards. So we'll simply start by looking at what you want to build this deck around, which is probably the Badgerbear, the Vanguard Squire, and Garen, as they're your win conditions for this deck. So you look at these cards and you go, okay, well, all of them are elites, so we need to add in Battlesmith. Battlesmith in the past I've run as a 2-of because it feels really bad to draw in the late game, but you're normally going to be finishing games around turn 6 or 7 with this deck. If you're not, you're probably going to be losing, which is the one of the sad things about this deck. Its late game isn't incredible unless you can just keep your board alive. So okay, we've added Battlesmith, we have these 4 cards in the deck, and now we just need to figure out how to make it work even better. So Vanguard Squire is reduced for every elite you play, so we've got to throw in the cheapest elites that we can find, which is Cythria, which is the average for a 1 mana, which is a 2/2, and the Ramhound, which is probably one of the best 1-drops that we can have in this game right now, with it being a 3/3. Then we add only 2 of the Sergeants, mainly because I think for Demacia, my head is a little big, let me make it a little bit smaller. So as you can see here, for Demacia is a really good card. It helps for the condition of beating other go-wide decks, or just finishing it off with that 1 unit that can just push enough damage. We only run 2 of these because we don't want to clog our hand up with 3-drops, too many of them. And imagine this as a 1 or 0 mana card. That's how I see it. It's never going to be a 3/3. If it's a 3 mana 3/3, you've got a pretty rough hand and you're probably not going to be winning the game, in all honesty. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, I run 2 of because I think the 4 Demacia it generates is perfect. Bannerman is the Allegiance, and if we look at the stats here, you can see we've only got 2 cards, which is Targon, which is the Chaos Splash, but we'll go into that in just a second. And the last units that I wanted to add were the 6-drops. We have 2 Cythria. I run 2 because I think running 3 of in this specific version of the deck is a little bit troll, and only because if you draw more than 2 in your starting hand, you're not having a good time. If you have 1, you can play around it. If not, then you can hope to pull it in the later games and win. Moving on to the Ardent Tracker, it is the exact same as the Vanguard Squire. It works perfectly with the mana discounts. The card gets better with every elite that gets summoned, So you want to put in as many of the cheap elites as possible. If we look at how many elites that we can add into this, we have the Honoured Lord, which I don't think is a good card because of the stat line. You won't get its effect off. That's why it has a bad stat line. The Vanguard Defender, I don't add in this deck personally because it takes up the 2 mana slots of Battlesmith, and your combat tricks are 2 mana, and I just don't think this card is good enough if it's not being buffed by the Battlesmith. If it is, then you're playing it on turn 3, and I'd rather be having a 5-5 if I'm playing it with Battlesmith, rather than a 3-3 with Tough. This card is jank, you never want to play this. This card is understated, the Barrier and the Scout doesn't matter. The Redeemer can be a one-of if you really want the draw in the deck. I don't. It's either I'm winning on turn 6 or turn 7, or I'm not. Basically, as simple as that. The Gallant Rider, we can't get its effect off, so the stats are too bad. I would maybe recommend running one of the Silverwing Vanguard in the deck. If I did, I would probably... I don't know what I would take away. If you take away what you feel like you would here, but I would run at most one. It helps pull away the units that can block effectively, and as I said at the start of this video, the entire point of this deck is to beat your opponent in trades. If you trade and all of your units survive and all of theirs are dead, you've done great. You have done what this deck is wanting. You should be winning on your next swing. Coming up to the later elite units, the reason why you wouldn't run any of these, it's too slow. You want to get as many down, and when you're coming up to these 4 mana marks, 4 mana plus marks, you're questioning stuff. Definitely not this one. Definitely not this one. This one's bad. Cavalry is too expensive. This is the only exception because it's not 6 mana. If you're playing this for 6 mana, you've had a bad game. You just go next. Citri is a bit different because it gives you a win condition of other go-wide decks. For example, Nora, if you go against Nora decks, the portals and all of her units normally have about 2 power or less. I have actually won games because of Citri the Bold Fearsome. It's underrated in my opinion. There is a chance that this deck will eventually get nerfed. You will probably end up playing 3 of these and taking away some of the other cards. King Jarvan, we will talk about the champions in a second. However, King Jarvan is a interesting one. Because he's 7 mana, you can play him to draw Jarvan. However, because I'm only running 1 Jarvan, it's not in my best interest to run it. Because if I already draw the Jarvan, and then King Jarvan comes down, then we have a little bit of an issue. Because he's effectively not doing what you want him to do. The entire point of this card is you play him to draw Jarvan. He's a boat. And if you're not using him as a boat, it's just an understated unit. Yes, the effect is really cool, but the chances of you getting that off, pretty slim to none. The last card I want to mention is For the Fallen. There is a very, very small chance that if a lot of more people are playing elites, I might add one of these. Swing with all 5 units. If I know the trade is going to go equally bad for both of us, where we both basically lose the entire board, I think For the Fallen could be a very, very strong card. If you swing with 5 units, they all die. Your opponent loses 4 units, let's say, instead of 5, so they're 1 unit ahead of you now, and you play this for 2-3 mana, and you summon 5 units. Yeah, it can be strong, but at the moment I'm not going to be running it, just because I'm not running into that many mirrors. At the time of recording, it's about a week after the gameplay you're going to see in a moment. I'm higher on the leaderboards right now using this version of the deck, and a lot more people have stopped playing elites because a lot more people were playing elite counters. So I've swooped back in with a different version of the deck. We're basically going straight through them. They either have an answer to us or they don't. If they don't, well, your units are going to die and we're going through you. The last thing I want to mention is a couple of the cards that we're running before we go into the champions. So, Ranger's Resolve, I'm running 2 of. It beats the Elite's Mirrors, because some people are only running 1 copy of this. If you use 1 and you have the second one, they won't expect the second one. So you can get some really interesting trades. Sharp Sight, because we have the Badgerbear, Sharp Sight's not that good now. We use Ranger's Resolve for protection. It's 1 mana less, and the only other effect this does is grant us to block elusives, but we have that on a unit now, which is overstated for what it's cost. I do expect this card to be nerfed in a couple of weeks. I don't think it's fair at 3 mana 4/4. I think it's probably going to go to a 3 mana 3/4, in all honesty. Especially since you can buff it with it being elite. So, Blocking Badgerbear will be a 3/4, you can mark my words on that. Single combat, the only reason I'm running this is because we have the Mirai card, which is... That's not how you spell Mirai, hold on. If I just search Keg, that's going to be easier. Oh god, it doesn't. Oh, it's because I don't own her. There you go. The Mischievous Mirai. I'll make a copy so it's easier to see. So, because she summons a Powder Keg, usually, sometimes playing into elites, you can struggle against this card if they have the Caustic Cask. Sorry, the Caustic Rift, which does 1 damage to everything. If I go to owned, there you go, Caustic Rift. It deals 1 to everything. With the Keg, it can start stacking. So the reason why I run single combat is so that I can single combat the Keg once they've cast the Caustic Rift, so that the Caustic Rift can then go from dealing 5 to everything to 1 to everything, because we single combat after the attack. And we run 3 of them because it can help remove other threats. Whether that be Nora, whether that be Teemo or Akshan. There's a couple of cards which you've seen around in the meta. Single combat is always nice to have, which is also why I want run Concerted Strike. It helps with the bigger units, basically. Garen's your 5 attack. Your Badgerbear will probably be 6 attack, let's be honest, if it gets buffed by the Battlesmith and the Bannerman. 7 attack if it gets buffed by the Garen, so you have ways to deal with bigger threats. The 2 cards that I'm running for Rally are Champion Strength. It's just a good card, let's be honest. It was 8 mana, it's gone to 9 with the nerf many months ago. This card is very good. If your opponent doesn't have an answer, it's basically just a win game button. However, there's also Loof running around at the moment, so I do want to be able to rally in this deck. So that's why I'm preferring to run Golden Aegis, so that they can throw away these cards here, and then we have Golden Aegis at 5. A lot of people, after the nerf that this got from 4 to 5 mana, a lot of people just straight not running this card. And I think it's really good still. 5 mana, I think it's a fair price to pay for both a barrier and a rally. But yeah, I'm very happy with the rally cards here and the rest of the cards. Now, the only other thing that I want to talk about are the champions, because I am running Garen and Kayle, as well as Jarvan. And it's a bit odd, because a lot of people are only running the Jarvan version, and the reason I don't is because Garen and Kayle effectively do the same thing. Kayle can be played on defensive turns, because it's a grant, while Garen is on attacking turns. You normally play him to go in. It's good that you do that, because he has the health buff as well, which means that you can attack, and you have that extra health that you can hopefully survive the trade with. Another reason why you would split champions is because of their champion spell. Kayle's is Divine Judgment. It's very expensive. The effect is strong. It can win you some games. I've only had one game where it's really come in effective, but it's not really that good of a spell. Unless potentially you're using it on your other Kayle, who has leveled up with double attack and overwhelm. That has also won me a game. So it's a tricky one. I like to have the Jarvan. Jarvan is a very strong card when you summon him. He can pull a threat. Think Viegos, think Lux, think Jace, think Fiora, if they were in a Fiora meta. Recently, Fiora's seen a bit more play, so it could happen. And then Garen is just, he's an elite. He's a 5/5, which also has regen. He's basically a vengeance target. And similar to Galio, he's really good at stopping people from just losing value when you play the card. If I play Garen on 5 and they vengeance it, they probably don't have any more mana for the rest of that turn. And hopefully I have 3 or 4 units on the board at that stage of the game. So I'll be buffing them up. So at least he gave everything else +1/+1 this turn. Maybe it can help with some trades. Maybe it can win me the game on turn 5. You don't know until you give Garen a try. And also, no one plays around Garen's Judgment. Everyone jokes about it, or they're going to have Judgment, but everyone just forgets that this card exists. And it is really funny when you manage to pull it off. Especially into mirrors. Because, like, they should know about it, and they don't. But, yeah, that is the deck rundown. I don't think there's any other cards that I've missed. Knight of the Vanguard, I did run as a one-of, but I think in this version of the deck, it's not that great. But yeah, I think I mentioned the rest of the cards. So what I will do now is I will show you the footage that I was talking about from a week ago when I played this version of the deck in Ranked. As of today, let me show you where I am. I'm currently rank 80. Just minimize me down a bit. I am rank 80. I've got 180, and my goal for the season is to get to top 100 because we get that Divine Flame title. So if I see myself dropping below that point, I'll just be playing this deck to bump back up because I think it is a really strong deck, and I think it is a little underrated at the moment. So yes, that's all for this run through of the deck guide. We'll go to some gameplay, and I'll see you later. So, Darkness. The only thing we're looking for here is to just go wide as fast as possible, I guess. So, I'll take that. We have an answer to his thing on turn 2. We're attacking on 5, so we have Garen. Perfect. Okay, he has his 2-drop. We better draw something. Oh no. Oh, it's only a conch. Panic over.
Let us take a peek at life beneath the waves.
Okay. What could we draw here? Single combat would be really helpful.
Only I can command darkness. Only I.
Only I. We played this, then we can also play this. Oh, sorry, this into.
Come, it's showtime.
So we played this one first, so we can block both of these if needed. Then this. I think there's gonna be a. No, it's not. Holding Double Quietus was
ready to do my part.
because now he doesn't get a good trade again into anything. That is perfect into his possible champions now.
Astounding curiosities lie ahead.
So if I was him, I'd block here. One of them has, unless he has a spell that can deal 3 damage. I guess he could have had could have bought.
Easy does it.
What's the card called? Where you kill a unit and deal. Oh, group shot. It's group shot something onto here. Group shot pokey. What? Why would you not? He ordered wrong! He put the order on wrong! He did it the wrong way! God, I really hope he realizes. I was like, wait, why is this surviving? I think he's realized that pause was a fucked up. Okay. One by one. Ideal top deck now would be one of 2 cards, and it is both of these 2 champions. Either of those champions would be Chef Kiss. I don't want to play into Ruination, so I'm just going to open attack.
This is it.
Blocks here, blocks here. So that's a Vengeance on Garen. Everyone say bye to Garen!
Great fool! I will drink your darkness!
What are you wearing? Oh, my dear.
I want. Oh.
My mind! It's a disaster!
It's a disaster!
I will shape death as easily as clay.
Oh. If this was one less, we could actually save Garen here. And we can level him. Stop the lifesteal.
Reach too far.
Then we're gonna save the Concerted Strike. Because if he doesn't do anything, we're just gonna pass. Like, I don't want to play this unit. I don't want to do anything until I know what he's doing. As long as I know he's not gonna Ruination, then... Okay, I don't want to play into Castigate either, so I am still going to pass.
Take a peek at life beneath the waves.
Darkness, obey me!
The finest Demosian steel.
Perfect. So, here, here, and here. Then we play Bannerman. And then we get 3 4/4s and a 2/2.
A symbol worth fighting for.
And then the best top deck would be Jarvan now, so that we can just open attack. Yeah, that's fine. Nice! I think I explained my plays pretty well there. Okay, Teemo Caitlyn is a tricky one. So, Sharp Sight is nice. It means that we can take the damage on turn 1. And it gives you extra draw, yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna a pass. It's only 1 damage. I'd rather get this being a 3/3. Okay, Battlesmith. We might want to range his resolve.
It's dangerous out
Perfect
there.
top deck.
Take this.
Okay. So the looks of it, he's gonna have these ready for. If he's not playing them now, he's gonna play them with the 3-drop. Or Mystic. And because of this, we can attack now. So we deal 2 damage for free.
Don't make them for the shelf.
Well, what have we here?
See, I see your 3-drop, and I raise you a 5/5.
Wait.
Our turn 4 is very nice. We get 2 cards, and we have Sharp Sight available. Okay, does he get lucky with the Flash Bomb? No. Wow. I mean,
The finest Demosian.
can't say no to that. I cannot say no to that. There is a limit you can only say. Ass. Okay, flash bombs are now a worry. We might hit both of them in this. Nice, we didn't. Whew! Very nice. Flash bombs don't exist, they can't hurt us. Okay, that's fine.
Beaten down.
Gonna play the 1-drop first.
New recruit reporting in.
I'm gonna 1-drop, 1-drop, 3-drop. He drew all 3 Mystic shots. Okay. I guess
Actually,
you're just better.
But
I
the
understand.
soldier is worth 10 foes.
However, he's giving us free draw, which probably not ideal for him. Oh, we got... Okay. A flash bomb's like guaranteed the next 2 cards. So I think with this attack... I mean, I think he's lost, let's be honest. Like, look at our hand, look at his deck.
I have something very special.
Yeah, 5 flash bombs. Oh wait, I need these at last. So 1, 2...
charge.
Watch your step.
This is really, really good range of resolve. Like, this is a... It's so incredible. I have to Garen there. He can't kill Garen this turn.
Not done.
It's impossible.
Stay resolute.
No, I mean... Jesus. Have I ever seen a winning hand in my life? What is this? It doesn't help that he's giving me these cards.
Put on me mask, secure me tail, start the day.
You gave me the card, buddy. Don't say anything. You gave it to me. I mean, he had a
Another day in the field.
triple Mystic Shot hand.
A real battle.
Does he think this is elusive? No, yeah. Put that there, put that there. Like, it doesn't matter, which is the funnier thing. Two flash bombs. 3. You could have traded with the Teemo. Wow. Yeah, this game was just painful for my opponent. And like open attack Jarvan, who's leveled.
I'll do my best.
You'd have to deal with this.
On! For Demacia!
I mean, yeah. He'd have to deal with all of these. He'd have to remove them all, and then hope I don't have a buff. Like, my hand here would just be play this, play this, play this, and 1 turn. The board would go from a 2-1 to 2 3-3s and a 2-2. So, it's just unfortunate my opponent was giga high rolled there. We got perfect range of resolve, perfect golden aegis,
Demacia prevails.
still net positive. Jack's on. Oh god, it's this guy. Okay, okay. Keeping this hand. We just need something for 2. Maybe a Battlesmith would be ideal. That's a good 2. That is a good 2.
Still so much to learn.
Want to line up for your beatdowns or go all at once? Hope you stretched.
The fact that Catch doesn't even save him there is quite nice. So Badgerbear, Bannerman, and then on the same turn as Bannerman we do... Oh my god. Okay, so on the same turn as Bannerman, we're playing our entire... Wait, we're... I've just realised what we're doing next turn. Alright, it's better to do this, because the starts get spread.
Tall as a mountain and covered in ice.
I feel bad.
Reporting for duty.
In the name of our land.
Guys, I feel bad. What is this?
My blade shall illuminate the dark.
And this is why I play Kale, because it's just
Stand with me by the light.
in my opinion,
Ancestors
just a
dead.
better Garen. Oh, not a better Garen. It's just the Garen. Okay. In. Double freeze, block. Alright, play this
Show
one.
them what we're made of.
That plays around a double freeze.
A good fight's the spice of life. Garlic works in a pinch.
So that's on Kale. Block, block, block. Still takes 5.
Your head.
Now that is a good game to end on, in my opinion. That is why we run this deck, and that is why I run Kale. Kale is just Garen. So technically you're running 5 Garens. Ugh.